What is democracy? Democracy is where the citizens of a country or state have an equal vote on who the leader should be. There are many, many forms and ways of democracy. For example, citizens would go to a booth to vote for a president candidate. The candidate with the most votes wins the election, becomes the president, and, well, gets to live in the White House in Washington, D.C. There are many other forms of government. One that is basically the opposite of democracy is called dictatorship. Dictatorship is where all government power is put onto one leader. For example, North Korea has a leader, but all the citizens that live there are not allowed to vote for who the leader is. Now it's time for other people's opinions on democracy.
Oh, no, our nation is not a true democracy because we don't have enough people voting for the people who would represent us in the first place. That's problem number one, right? We don't have enough people turning out to the polls. A major presidential election, what do we get? I don't know what the figures are. I'd be surprised if over 55% of the eligible voters showed up to vote on voting day when the president was elected. That's problem one, not enough people voting. Problem two, the people who run, it's a plutocracy. They're all the same. They're all widgets, most of them, except for my representative. They don't really represent the people's interests. They represent what they need to represent to get reelected, and that's probably big business who writes them checks to run campaigns. I think Peter DeFazio said in some radio broadcast that he spends huge amounts of time just stuck in this booth on a phone saying, hey, can you donate some money to my campaign, and maybe because you like me, or maybe because I'll vote for something that you like. I don't know. Anyway, so the two problems that are keeping us from being a true democracy are, one, not enough people vote, and two, the people we vote for aren't of high caliber.
I think in principle people value it because it's a lot better than a fascist dictatorship, and so the democracy is kind of the opposite of that. People value the fact that they are given a chance to vote and make decisions about our country's future and our policies. But I think that people tend to be a little bit lazy, and they feel at some points that I've heard so many people say that why should I vote? It doesn't make any difference what I vote. People are just the government's going to do what they want to anyway. So I think people value it in principle, but I think sometimes they feel a little bit defeated that it really doesn't benefit them.
Oh, it's essential. You got to have people, an educated populace who can make good decisions based on just reasoning and logic and knowing all the facts. Being able to as a math teacher, I keep emphasizing this with everybody: is be a problem solver. Look at something that's going on the ballot. Be able to take it for what it is. Read it carefully. Read it well, and know what you're voting on. And if you're not educated, then you're just voting. You're going to listen to some AM radio station jockey who's spewing all kinds of ideas that aren't necessarily in your best interest, yet you just end up believing it anyway, and then you just start voting in a way that isn't really educated. You're just saying, oh, this guy says this, so I'm going to vote this way. If you're well educated, you can make good decisions, and then our voting process would definitely be a lot better in that regard. Yeah.